Hi, I'm Dave Hewitt, and welcome to Woodstock Airport, or Rendezvous Ridge as we call it. My early aviation memories are as an elementary school kid and even an early teenager, running around this field, helping keep Harvards flying, service Harvards, get them in the air to fly over a parade, or service any of the other airplanes, and even helping out with the largest air show on grass, is what we used to call it, and it ran for about 24 years here at the Woodstock Airfield. Yeah, so the land you're on right now, I played on as a child. We actually grew up 250 yards down through that bush, so the airfield has been in my backyard all my life. Used to dirt bike across the runways. I know that the old boys of the flying club have memories of those darn Hewitt kids crossing the runway in their dirt bikes when they were trying to fly. But had it in my backyard all my life, and luckily in 2002 we were able to buy the land that we played on for years, and now I own a part of this paradise. I started getting my pilot's license here in 1986. I was 16 years old, and I got about 9 hours into my license. Unfortunately, the flight school that was based here, the gentleman got sick and ended up closing the flight school. I would have to drive all the way to London to finish my training, and being a 16-year-old with a driver's license, I chased cars and girls for a few years. And I tell everybody that I won. I got the girl. I married my grade 10 high school sweetheart. But 19, I went back, got my license. I'll never get those 3 years back, but I haven't looked back since. Well, I've been very, very fortunate that I've flown well over 20 different types of airplanes. Can't really say that I have a favorite. Everything is mission-oriented for me. So it depends on whether I want a nice calm evening and I feel like being a barnstormer, and I take out the open cockpit Stearman and chug around at 500 feet over the trees. If I want to take 6 friends, go have a $700 hamburger, then I would take the Beech 18. If I want to go fly formation aerobatics with my other buddies in the Harvards, then I'd pick the Harvards. So everything's mission oriented. I love the airplanes that challenge you. The club's originally foundation goals was to promote aviation cost effectively. And aviation camaraderie, and that's still very, very strong in the club today. The club's doing very well. We've got over 70 members, 3 airplanes in the club, but there's over 18 airplanes on the field, because some members own their own airplane. I have a pretty sweet deal, in my opinion. The Woodstock Ontario Flying Club, which was formed in 1968, they exist on this field and have ever since 1968. And my deal is they get to use my land for the runway as long as they maintain it. So my name's in the CFS, but don't let that make you think that I do all the work around here. I don't do very much work. The Flying Club is a bunch of volunteers, and they maintain and look after the airport property. Well, it's a family legacy. My father was ex-RCAF 1956 to 58, and that's the original tie to the Harvard, because he did his training in the Harvard, and he always said that the Harvard's a great airplane, and when they got one, he always said there's only one thing better than a Harvard, and that's another one. So eventually they ended up with 4. But to have the 3rd generation flying, it's pretty neat. We do some formation flying, and to fly off the wing of your son is quite surreal, actually. Well, it's my hobby and it's my love. So, other than my wife, these are my mistresses. It's a challenge of flying, the challenge of the perfect landing when I'm doing formation, the challenge of the perfect formation when we're doing aerobatics. It's the challenge of doing the perfect maneuver. You know, the poems that talk about I've slipped the surly bonds of earth. Until you've done it, you really don't understand what those words really mean. Well, whenever, and I've done it many, many times, taken a young potential aviator, future aviator up in any of my airplanes, and you can see that you've sunk in an interest. My advice to them is, if you're interested, do it now. Beg, borrow, steal, whatever you have to do before life gets in the way, because there's so many people that I also take for a ride in their 50s and 60s and say, I really wish I had gotten my pilot's license. My advice is get her done now before mortgages, car payments, and everything else in life gets in the way. It's something that you can always use and you can always park, but if you don't get it, it gets harder and harder to get. Well, it's been a pleasure having you guys here. Thanks for coming and visiting us at Woodstock CPR 5. Trish and I have nicknamed it Rendezvous Ridge, and hope to see you again here someday.